Hey, this is Nicole from Black Women Black Belt, and I am on my phone, so the sound might not be sounding like I like it. In this video, I spoke with 3 women, each having a chronic illness. When I taped it, it was January, but it's February, and everybody's out just being ill, flu, whatever virus is going around. C19, y'all, I can't say it on YouTube because YouTube is jerk like that. I thought about it and I was like, it's hard in these jiu-jitsu streets, but what if you had some kind of illness in which it would make it harder to get on the mats almost every single time you got on? I talked to 3 women about how it is to have a chronic illness, how they figured out they had a chronic illness, how they manage it, and what they do when they can't get onto the mats, because these jiu-jitsu streets are hard, right? But I can only imagine how much harder it is when your body is just working against you. Instead of having long introductions, I'm gonna let the interview speak for itself, and let me know what you think down in the comments, and like and subscribe if you haven't already. All right, deuces. Hey, ladies. Thank you for being here today, and thank you for your input, because as for me, I'm pretty much healthy. I whine a little bit, but I'm healthy on most ends. So I really want this to be something that can help other women, and I know that statistically speaking, we're all going to have chronic illnesses. So I just wanted to say, hey, thank you for your time. I know we're here in Kentucky. It is 9:07 p.m. So it might be a little bit earlier, but you know what? That's what time zones are for. All right. If you could you introduce yourself and the illness that you are managing? So whoever wants to start first.
Sure, I can go.
Go
Oh,
ahead.
go ahead, Dr. Leslie.
I am Dr. Leslie Davis, and I am also a type 1 diabetic.
Hold on, she's on the phone. So go ahead, Vanessa.
All right, my name is Vanessa, and then I have 2 different heart conditions, bradycardia and AV block, and now I have a pacemaker from both of those heart conditions.
All right. And also, hopefully, Khadijah got the message because she called me here just a few seconds ago. She'll be in a few seconds. The first thing I want to ask, and hopefully I'm not rushing you guys, but the first thing I want to ask you guys is, how did you figure out that you had these conditions? Was it on the mat, or was it on the mat, or was it before you started martial arts?
Yeah, I was actually diagnosed within, I think, the first year that I started training jujitsu. And it's even the way that I got diagnosed, like I'm pretty healthy. I eat healthy. I was going in just for my normal checkup. And the next day after my physical, my doctor calls me and was like, how are you feeling? I'm like, I'm fine. And then she says, you need to go to the ER. I'm like, for what? And she said, well, your blood sugar is over 400. I'm like, what's that mean? And she told me that, I had diabetes, and she was confused how I got it because I'm pretty healthy in general. But it is genetic. And so she just said it was just genetic predisposure. So I found out the first year, and it definitely affected the way that I trained, like immediately as soon as I started taking insulin. My body had to adjust to that. So the process of getting healthy after I was diagnosed was pretty intense.
Oh, I could not imagine. I'm like, all right, everything's great, everything's good, and 400. That's what is the normal, and what is the normal blood sugar level? And how high is 400?
So 400 is off the charts. I should have been in a coma. So they say the typical range for a healthy person is between 80 to 120. So anything over 120, you're in that diabetes range. But I was off the charts for a very long time, and I had no idea.
Wow.
Wow.
And no symptoms.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
Yeah. Oh, the Lord is real. I'll tell you that. All right. And Vanessa, whenever you're ready, I would you can introduce yourself. Hey, Stacy.
Hi, I'm so sorry.
That's
I
okay.
got so much
That is
stuff
okay.
going on
We
constantly.
we are introducing ourselves and the sicknesses that we're managing. Leslie, she's a type 1 diabetic. Then we were going to go to Vanessa, and since you're in, Stacy, we'll get to you next. All right.
Okay, well, I'm trying to set up my camera. And
That's all
I'm
right.
sorry if I look a little bit crazy, y'all. It's just been one of those days.
That's
So,
I
perfect.
feel you.
It took us like 5 minutes to get the sound, so we're good.
okay. Can you see me now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Hi, Stacy.
Lord Jesus. God knows. God
You did it.
knows. So, hi. All right, go ahead. Am I next? Who's next?
Vanessa.
Me? Vanessa. Go, Nessa.
Thank you. Thank you. So I was diagnosed far before I started doing jujitsu around the age of 14. I was going in for just routine health checks and had to stay pretty much in the hospital for about 2 months to get diagnosed through a bunch of testing. So got pulled out of school, stuck in the hospital, ruling out a bunch of possibilities, and then finally got diagnosed with my 2 heart conditions. So bradycardia is a super slow heartbeat. So when I'm resting, my heart would be in the teens or the 20s, when most people's hearts are resting about 60, 70 beats per minute. So I was pretty much zombie. When I was going to bed, they said there's a high possibility more so of passing out just because my heart was functioning so slow. And then the second diagnosis is I have an electrical problem between the top and bottom chambers of my heart. So the top will beat and the bottom won't beat, or my heart just skips beat. So because of that, there's a lot of lack of oxygenated blood going into my body. There's been a lot of adaptations over the year. I've already had my second surgery about 1.5 years ago to get it replaced. And it's definitely a journey with jujitsu, and just getting people acclimated to that on the mat, making sure they know that I have a hunk of metal in my chest. But most of my training partners are pretty adapted to it now and really fragile, with this space. So
All right. Well, Stacy, hey, you can go next. Just introduce
Okay.
yourself and just tell us what do you call it? What illness you're managing while on the mats.
Okay, so I'm Stacy Rowland. I am blue belt at Brazilian top team, and the illness that I'm dealing with is lupus. I was diagnosed with SLE, discoid lupus combination, when I was 7 years old, and I've been dealing with it for 42 years. Before that, but I was diagnosed at 7. I've been dealing with it my whole life, and how it was caught was so with lupus, it's an autoimmune disease that your white blood cells, so for some people their white blood cells help them heal. My white blood cells attack me. So when I get sick, I get really sick, extremely bad. I have the butterfly syndrome. So where you get blisters and it looks kind of, it's hard to explain. I will send you pictures, but it looks like like a map all over your body of red, I would say, on me. And sometimes I'll have a fever of 104 to 105. So how I manage it on the mat is I make sure I'm not on any medication right now. I was on several, but got off and started working on how I eat, how I train, and then trying to just make sure that I'm around the same people all the time. That's how I've been able to manage it. I do go to the rheumatologist because I have fibromyalgia as well. So with the combination of that and rheumatoid arthritis, I'm dealing with the different elements of lupus. Lupus is a disease that nobody really knows about or understands. So it's not new, but to the medical field, it's still a mysterious disease. So, and people die from it. Selena Gomez has it. Nick Cannon has it. Lady Gaga has it. So a lot of stars have this disease, and there's a couple of sports people as well. So a couple of people, whoever sees this now will know I have it at my gym, but a couple of my my professors and a couple of my friends know that, I have it.
That's crazy. I could not imagine. And you went into something that I want to ask next, and that's a really good question. Like you was talking about how y'all manage having chronic illnesses, because again, I don't have any chronic illnesses. I'm just chronically lazy. That's my only chronic illness is just chronic laziness. But how, like, what steps do you take to like make sure that you can train, and or like what do you do if you feel yourself going into like into crisis? Saying crisis because I have sickle cell runs in my family, so I kind of know that whole, like, I understand chronic illness, but like I was blessed not to get one. But how do y'all how do you manage it like on the mats? Because jujitsu is rough. Like, so what, just down the line, what do y'all do to take care of yourselves while on the mats?
Yeah, so as a diabetic, I think technology is very helpful. So there is a continuous glucose monitor called Dexcom that I wear. And I usually wear it on the back of my arm. So I have to let my training partners know, like I have this monitor in my arm, not to grab in certain places because it's very expensive. So I don't want it ripped out. So all the people I train with, they know that I'm diabetic. They know what to look out for if I'm having a crisis on the mat. I like how you said that. But my Dexcom is paired to my cell phone. So I keep my cell phone very close to me on the mat. So it'll alert me if I'm going too high or if I'm going too low with my blood sugar. And if I'm going too high, I have to make sure that if I don't have insulin in my body, I have to inject insulin. Sometimes I get shaky. So I noticed that if I train with someone who's much heavier than me, and I'm the smallest person in my gym, y'all can't see, but I'm only 4'11". I'm very tiny.
Oh yeah.
Everyone in the gym is bigger than me.
I mean, you do have the hashtag Team Tiny, but I didn't know you was 4'11" tiny.
That's tiny.
That's tiny, tiny.
Yes, I'm very, very small. So everyone is bigger than me. Everyone's heavier than me for the most part. And so if I'm rolling with someone much heavier, usually all the guys, then I will spike on the mat. And so if I'm going high and if I feel like I can't do much to help myself, my training partners know where I keep my insulin in my bag, which is not too far away from me. But if I go low on the mat, and I notice that's typically if we're training and we're just doing drills and it's kind of slow pace, I'll go low, which is scarier to me because I get really shaky. I feel like I want to go to sleep. So it kind of feels like I'm passing out. And if that happens, I keep gummy bears in my bag and they're organic. So they all tease me thinking it's another organic gummy bear. But they know to give me sugar.
So if we ever roll against each other, I know who has the snacks. Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Just
Oh,
all right.
yes.
All right. Vanessa, what do you do to manage on the mats?
Yeah, absolutely. As someone with a pacemaker, the first thing I always have to do is just inform training partners, especially about where it is in my chest, just certain moves that may irritate it. So people that have maybe cupping underneath here, whether we're trying to do some type of, arm attack or we're going for some type of takedown, especially takedowns, those hurt a lot. Yeah, I have to avoid that. So I'm a guard puller, 100% all the way, thick and through. I will pull guard.
Hey, if it keeps you from getting hurt and or dying, yeah, pull guard. Yeah.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Some sloppy knee slices here and there will get this area, but pretty much most people know to avoid it. Occasionally I'll get lightheaded, dizzy, but I pretty much know it's time to sit to the side, slow down, drink water. I really have to work on heart conditioning and just staying up with my cardio so that I know I have like a good baseline for when I am on the mat. And competing is just a lot of mental preparation. The first couple of times I competed, there was a lot of, just pressure in this area and just, reminding myself that it's temporary. It's not going to cause permanent damage to me. If it is, swelling up or getting bruised, it's going to heal. But overall, I think most people know not to bug that area. And it's a lot of just milestones with me to also make sure that I'm not overdoing it and slowing myself down when I need to.
Okay. Stacy, what do you do to manage? I know you touched on it, but if you have anything else that I forgot to
Oh,
add.
yeah. So of course the diet, I have to make sure so because of it's an autoimmune disease, um, and I can get sick easily, I have to make sure the people that I'm around are, you know, are well kept. So and the gym is always about, hey, make sure if you're sick, you stay home. Now, if I don't feel well, I will stay home. Rest is very important. I go to the doctor, get blood work done constantly just to make sure my levels are okay. There was a point I did have to deal with my white blood cell count being extremely high, so it was back away from everybody, stay at home, kind of isolate yourself, rest, take vitamins. Um, Definitely, this is one of those things where I have a lot of bacteria, hand soap and stuff. So I'm constantly like, when I'm done, people don't, they might not see me do it, but I'm constantly like rubbing bacteria on my hands. Soon as I go home, strip down, hot shower. It's a lot.
Oh
It's
yeah.
a lot.
I'm perfectly healthy. Once I get finished, they know 3 things about me. They know 3 things.
Yeah.
Come in about 5 minutes late.
Yep.
I'm gonna talk trash the whole time, and I'm gonna go
Yep.
to the shower. Those are my 3 things.
Yep.
I don't play with that because I've seen it. One of my and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
You're
off,
okay.
but one of the guys I used to roll with at my very first gym had caught MRSA. And
Yeah.
he was
Yeah.
in the hospital for like a month and some change. He was like real bad off. He had like lost a whole bunch of weight. And I was like, you know what? I'm too sexy to be getting MRSA. No ma'am. And
Yeah.
I wash off before, like even right now, I got my clips in where I don't wash my
Yeah.
like, oh
I
no.
dip. Yep. I actually like I dip my hair in boiling hot water
Yeah,
twice a week just to
just to kill those germs.
yeah. And but vitamins, a lot of rest. I'm not one of those people that's like go until I fall out because I've done that before and I've had to like take a long break. So maintaining just rest, stress is one of the highest indicators of having your lupus reactivate. So right now I'm in remission. So lupus is kind of treated like cancer. You get chemotherapy at times. It can destroy your kidney, it can destroy your heart, it can destroy your lungs. So my type of lupus destroys my skin. So like I said, I'll send you pictures so you can see what I'm talking about.
What is it called again where the skin starts getting all mappy again? I just call it map skin now. That's the
Well, we call it butterfly rash.
yeah.
Um, so when people look at my thing, it's called loba, and they think it's just because of the wolf, but actually lupus in Latin is wolf, loba bite.
Okay, that makes sense. Like, yeah. 'Cause like I'm a Spanish teacher. I know lobo is a wolf.
It's a
But it's
wolf.
like, and it always comes from Latin and lupus.
Yeah.
Now I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I learned something today.
So that's why loba BJJ is my tag. So with that, maintaining that it's all about making sure, stay clean, vitamins, rest, making sure I'm not stressed. If anything starts to stress me out, I
Yeah.
gotta go. Because there have been times where I've been extremely stressed and gotten extremely sick. And ended up in not so good place. So definitely. And just taking care of yourself. I have to take care of myself. I have to eat good. When I don't, it shows. It shows really bad. So yeah.
I'm like, again, perfect. Well, I'm not gonna say perfectly healthy. I'm getting older, so I'm like, I have little things here and there, but yeah. Just I think that's for you guys, it's extra important to be healthy and really be on your P's and Q's about your diet and the stress and things. But even for us perfectly healthy people, yeah, that's just that when you eat right, you exercise correctly, that makes all the difference. But knowing what I know about you 3 ladies, I know y'all probably had time off the mats to where you can't train. What do you do for those times that you can't train? And how do you keep the mindset? Like, what do you do to keep yourself going so you can come back? Because I know you're blue, you're most of y'all are blue belts. Vanessa, you're a blue belt too?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I know y'all are all blue belts, and this is the time that like blue belt is the most dangerous time for you guys, because like at Brown, I'm like, oh, my ass is getting this black belt. I've been this 10.5 years. I'm getting this black belt by hook or crook. But for you blue belts, it's a hard time to keep in. So because y'all have the extra added burden of managing an illness. So what do you do when you can't be on the mats to really keep yourself into training mode in your brains?
That's a great question. I actually experienced that today. So I had a moment, I was at open mat and I was starting to spike. And so I had to sit out. And that's one of the most frustrating times when you want to train and your body just won't let you do it. And you have to sit down, and everyone's like, are you okay? Everyone's checking on you. And what I found over the last couple of years is, it's good to sit back and just start watching other people train because you see jujitsu in a different way. So I'll start taking notes. And then I got interested the last year or two. I've become interested in learning how to coach or how to corner someone. So I'm learning the language of jujitsu. I'm learning how other people are training differently from me and why there's so many different styles. So it's really interesting to see jujitsu in a different way because I'm able to sit back and observe and not just absorb the knowledge by doing the moves. So I take notes. I take notes on the sideline.
All right, what about you, Vanessa? What do you do to keep yourself in the game? Up in here, up in here.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, pretty similar to Dr. Leslie. There's tons of times where I just have to pause myself and sit to the side. So in those moments, I already have my little binder. I can take notes. But the main thing that really put me out is when I had to have my whole device replaced. So that process was about 3 months for recovering before I could even start fully using my left arm and bearing weight. So during that time, I actually started coaching the kids class, which was super fun and just really brought a whole different excitement and light to seeing jujitsu through the eyes of, little kids, even teenagers, and also just being able to start kind of helping shape some of the techniques was pretty fun. Being able to plug in some of my favorite things and teaching the kids those moves, but also just having exposure to all the different types of styles from my coaches was really fun. And I feel like it really diversified my guard styles during that time.
All right, Stacy, what do you do? Because I mean, if you've gone through what you've gone through, which is, I mean, I'm not discounting any of y'all stuff, but like your whole life, that's a long time.
Yeah. So I'll be 50 this year. So I have to kind of
You
I'm
look
so happy for you. Hey, 50, hey.
and a blue belt. And I'm just like, gosh, I got like 10 more years. I'm gonna be like walking with a cane by the time I get my black belt, but it's okay.
Hey, I feel like, hey, did you see the guy that got his black belt at like 85?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna complain. It's good. It's
Yeah.
good.
So yeah,
It'll happen.
it takes you till you're 85. Hey, I'll be
It'll
there.
happen.
I'll be there with you. So
I got nothing but
I'm
time.
sorry. I'm sorry. I just cut. I talked
Go
too much.
ahead.
But yeah, how do you manage?
So when I do have moments, I pretty much won't go around a lot of people because it's my immune system. So I have to make sure that I'm kind of isolating myself a little bit. But as soon as it starts getting a little bit better, I'll come and sit. My professor is really good about, how are you doing? Just come sit, you don't have to roll, you don't have to do anything. So and then because I have fatigue, so majority of my life, there are people that, and I don't know if Nessa or Dr. Leslie can attest to this, but there are people that can operate at 80 to 100%, right? Their 80 to 100% is my 60.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense. So I do CrossFit as well. So I've had to train my body through this time to learn how to recover, learn how to rest, stay away when necessary, but also see what I can push and see what it can handle. But when it's time, they will not see me. I'll be like, I'm sitting at home for a week or a couple of weeks. I've taken a couple of months off when necessary, and just basically knowing, having a date, seeing where I'm at, like, okay, I'm taking 2 months off. I'm going to be back on this day, and then seeing where I'm at that time and how I'm feeling. And if I can go back, I'm back. If I can't, okay, I have to add another week. So for me, it might be a little bit different than other people because I'm dealing with the autoimmune disease, but I still, if I have to just, I'll watch, I'll go and sit and watch. And I've always tried to make sure I support my team, like go watch a tournament or something and make sure they know that I'm there. So, and I'm lucky that my team, they keep us in the loop. So yeah, that's pretty much how I deal with being with this issue.
Okay. Well, I am just, again, I'm amazed at you ladies, because to be able to manage a chronic illness and to train and to be consistent in training, because I see Leslie and Loba, and now I'm gonna have to actually look out for you, Vanessa. I'm sorry, I'm crazy.
All gravy.
Yeah. So just for you to stay for as long as y'all have and to manage a chronic illness, that to me that's the epitome of persistence, like persistence and just the inner something, inner je ne sais quoi, that just really it has there's a passion for the sport. So I'm of course I'm not gonna keep y'all on here forever, because I know if y'all like me, it's 9 o'clock. I'm hungry. I want to get something to eat. But is there if there's one thing that you want to say to anyone that has chronic illnesses, what would you want to ask? Well, not ask. What would you want to say to them to keep them going? To say, hey, this can be done. I'm gonna start with Leslie, because funny enough, there's Leslie, and then there's Vanessa, and then there's Stacy. So I'm just going in the line. So there's no like favoritism here. It's just the fact that I'm like, this is the way I'm seeing y'all on the screen. So I'm gonna start with Leslie. What do you do for what advice would you give to someone who has a chronic illness?
I think the first thing is to respect your body, respect yourself first, and know that it could be challenging to continue training, but if your goal is to just get better at jiu-jitsu, don't let your illness stop you from doing that. And just do what you can, like know your limitations, but also I think the biggest thing is communicating to your teammates what you struggle with so they can support you in your journey of jiu-jitsu.
Okay. So Vanessa, what is your advice to someone who has a chronic illness?
Yeah, I think to just give yourself the grace that you deserve. Kind of leaning off again, Dr. Leslie, just there's going to be a lot of hurdles, milestones when you're navigating chronic illness. So just knowing that you're going to have those limitations and take those pauses, but take those pauses as opportunities to heal and grow so that when you do come back on the mat, you're feeling recharged and ready to take on those challenges. Like she said, if you're looking to just stay in jiu-jitsu to improve, you don't need to rush through it. So just, be patient with yourself and give yourself the grace that everyone deserves.
All right. And Stacy, what would you say?
I agree with Dr. Leslie and Nessa on grace. Also, self-love and self-care. That's very, very important to me, that I continue to show myself self-love and self-care. And all around with jiu-jitsu, just anything, find something that you love. If it's not jiu-jitsu, if it's dancing, if it's just whatever, find something that you love. And then even if you have to take a break, your heart will call back to it. Your heart will be like, I got to go back. So that's what I figured out, especially in my athletic journey. CrossFit, I always come back to it. Jiu-jitsu, I come back to it. I can't stay away from it. So once you find it, fall in love with it, no matter what happens, you'll keep coming back to it. And take care of yourself. Just love on yourself as much as you can.
Can
Hey.
I add a little something?
Okay, sorry. Go ahead. Yeah, yes, ma'am. You can. Please do.
Y'all know I'm a doctor, but I'm a therapist. So I want to, add that little piece about mental health, because I think that's so important when you have a chronic illness that sometimes no one can relate to your experience unless you go to therapy. And I always say jujitsu is my therapy, but you may actually have to talk to a therapist. So, and that's okay to have that space where you're talking to someone who may not, experience that with you, but they can understand where you're going and, the things that you're going through, where you may not be able to talk to your family, you may not be able to talk to your teammates, but there will be someone that's there to listen to you.
Okay. I'm sorry. After y'all's advice, I'm like, I'm feeling like I could do this. Like, now it's been really wonderful talking to you ladies. So I'm gonna end it here because again, I want to just not make this the longest thing ever, but I think the information y'all have given is just wonderful. Like, I mean, I've learned a whole lot and I am perfectly quote unquote healthy. So thank you for your time, and hopefully I get to actually roll with y'all and actually see y'all on the mat. So take care of yourselves. All right. See you later.
You too.
Okay. Bye,
Bye.
you guys.